Hello and welcome to Mission 5, Lesson 7, where our student objective is to use the area model and multiplication to show the equivalence of two fractions. So we're going to be creating equivalent fractions, meaning equal fractions today, using both an area model and multiplication. We're going to take a look at a couple of examples together. So let's do that now. So this fraction, if we saw this area model of a fraction, what fraction is this? Well, it's going to be 1/4, as it tells us right here, right? Because we have 4, and one of them is shaded. So right now we are given an area model of 1/4. Now, today what you're going to be asked to do in this lesson is to, okay, if we how can we decompose 1/4 to equal some new fraction? So to start with, it might say we want to show that 1/4, what 1/4 is equal to how many eighths. Okay, so we want to determine 1/4 is equal to how many eighths. So we need to turn the fourths, which we have here, into eighths. Okay, and how do I do that? Well, I'm going to use horizontal lines. I'm going to take this area model, I'm going to split it however many times I need to till I have 8 total. Okay, so if I start off with 4 and I'm going to start splitting it, how many times do I need to split this area model to get 8? Well, I'm just going to have to split it once, and so I'm just going to split it right down the middle here. Just like that. Because now, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made eighths. And I can see, just by looking at this, 1/4 was equal to how many eighths? Well, how many of those eighths are shaded? 2. 2 of the eighths are shaded. So 1/4 is equal to 2 eighths. Now, how can we also show that using multiplication? Because you're going to be doing that in today's lesson. All right. So we want to start off in 1/4, and we want to end up with eighths. Okay. So I'm going to show you, if I start off 1/4 times what gives me however many eighths. Well, all I need to do is look how many times did I split this? How many groups did I end up making? Well, I made it, how many rows? Think of it that way. How many rows did I end up getting after I split? Well, I had 1 row, and then I had 2 rows, right? I split it, so there are 2 rows. That tells me that I need to multiply times 2. And we're going to get into this in further lessons, but I can always find an equivalent fraction if I'm given a fraction and I multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. If I do that, I can always find an equivalent fraction. Now, for this one, we want to get specifically to eighths. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. And I know I'm going to multiply it by 2 because I made this into 2 rows. And I also know that 4 times 2 is 8. I know that, so I know it has to be 2. And if the 2 was here, I have to multiply 2 for my numerator. So I'm going to ask myself, well, what's 1 times 2? Well, 1 times 2 is 2, right? 1 times 2 is 2. So I just use multiplication to show that 1/4 is equal to 2 eighths. Now, just so we're clear, which is greater, 1/4 or 2 eighths? That's a trick question because they're the same. They are the same amount. Now, the pieces may be smaller in 2 eighths, but if I had 2 eighths of a candy bar, I would get the same amount as if I got 1/4 of a candy bar. Let's take a look at one more, and we're gonna start with 1/4 again, but now let's break it down into twelfths. And what would that look like? Now we have 1/4 still have 1/4, but now it's asking us to decompose the shaded fraction to show twelfths. So instead of having 4 total pieces here, I want 12 total pieces, and I want to figure out 1/4 is equal to how many twelfths. Well, okay, so I'm going to ask myself first, how many times do I have to split 1/4 to get twelfths? Now, remember last time I split it once, and how many total pieces did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got eighths. So I know I'm going to need more lines than 1, okay? So let's think here. If I 1, okay, but now I'm going to split it into another row. So I have 3 rows. Now let's see how many I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have twelfths now. I split the fourth, and now I made it 3 rows by adding 2 lines, and now I have 12 total. That got me to twelfths. Well, and I can look at this and figure out, okay, 1/4 was equal to how many twelfths? Well, 1, 2, 3. 1/4 was equal to 1, 2, 3 twelfths. I want to prove that now using multiplication as well. So again, I have 1/4, and it's showing me what do I have to multiply it by to end up with twelfths. Okay. Now again, how many rows did I have to split it up into? 3. I had to split up into 3 rows, so that tells me I need to multiply by 3. And remember, I have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, which in this case is 3. Now, a shortcut, you can also have asked yourself, okay, 4 times what number was 12? And you could have figured out 3. And eventually you can get to that point where you don't even need to draw it out. Okay, but for today we can draw it out, feel good about it. Okay, so let's see. 4 times 3, does that equal 12? Yeah, it did. We're just double checking that. Now I just go, well, 1 times 3 equals 3. 3 twelfths, right there. So what I've done with both these problems, I have shown that 1/4 is equal to 2/8 by using the area model and multiplication. And with this one, I showed that 1/4 was equal to 3 twelfths by drawing it on the area model and using multiplication. This is what you're going to be doing in this lesson. Good luck on your math fraction journey.